Hi, my name is Emilio Callarga, and today I'm gonna present my CRISPR presentation. And yeah, well, first I explain what is CRISPR. CRISPR is the abbreviation for cluster regularity interspaced short parallel repeats that translates basically into gene editing, a science that we have discovered in the 60s that its knowledge has grown faster than anything else have ever seen. Gene editing is the science in which you give improvements to a child before it has even born, as detecting genetic disorders, and in the future even removing them. But what is so controversial about it is that CRISPR has the ability to change someone's physical appearance and capacity. CRISPR has a power that humans before could only have dreamed of. Well, here's a image of a uh, CRISPR embryo. Actually, they haven't done any CRISPR babies yet, but here's is like a test where they insert a needle into the embryo with the genes already modified. Well, how it works? Scientists discovered that bacteria had a kind of memory that remembers DNA of viruses that have attacks and avoid them to replicate in the future. So, scientists used this ability to reprogram, track down, and modify genes to cure disease. So, gene editing, or CRISPR, divides into two different routes, that is, somatic and germline gene editing. Somatic and germline cells and how they relate to CRISPR. Somatic cells are basically in the skin and in the body, such as blood, brain, skin, and all the cells except from germ-like cells that involve sperm, eggs, and embryos, where organisms pass their offsprings. CRISPR divides into somatic editing and germline editing. One edits blood cells and the other sex cells. CRISPR has a division in how it's used. Therapy is to treat patients that have a disease, and improvement is editing the cells before they have a disease. For example, like a therapy for somatic cells will be cancer, will be treating HIV that have currently done in many cases. An improvement is somatic. It will be editing the cell before the organism has the disease. For example, if I don't know, they take samples of your blood and you have like a high potential disease of cancer, they introduce the modified cells to in the future prevent you from having cancer. The germline is where the controversial lands on. Well, the germline therapy is treating genetical disorders in the embryos considered as disease, such as dwarfism, Down syndrome, and many more. Here is where people argue, because someone may consider dwarfism as a disease, but someone may not. Like, that's the thing. And improvement is where the designated babies are labeled, in which someone can decide the baby's eye color, height, and many physical characteristics by editing the embryo. So what is polemic in this technology? Well, somatic editing is acceptable and germline isn't at the moment. Somatic gene editing is the area of treatment is considered medicine, and it's completely acceptable because it treats for a disease and maybe editing cells from a patient before he gets the disease. It is a treatment as vaccines, but germline is where the course of natural evolution is affected by the human and starts playing like its own god. What I'm trying to express is that what the natural process of gestation is affected by changing DNA is where humans start to play with the fire at the moment. I clarify at the moment because right now we don't have the ability or neither the knowledge to know what will happen. Uh, there have been scientists in Florida that release a bunch of mosquitoes without any clue what will happen. Like, I mean that kind of stuff. I'm strongly opposed to that possible risks because many of them may be catastrophic. Germline editing will be acceptable in some cases, only when technology has fully comprehension of it and it discards any type of error. That's what I mean. I don't know. Maybe if we start editing babies right now, evolution can catch us in some. I can't imagine what, but evolution can screw us. DGP, the ethical alternative for CRISPR. DGP is gene selection, basically, which consists in fertilizing a series of eggs and removing cells from the embryos and analyzing which one carries a disease. With it, humans can avoid messing around with evolution. Actually, DGP has been used for almost 30 years from now, and instead of editing one cell or embryo, you select the ones that are that has a disease, and they take samples and the ones that not introduced later to the mother. Is germline editing improvement morally wrong, or when will germline editing will be ready? I don't think it is, especially the improvement part, because how will you decide which race it is superior one or what is better? I just want to make clear that I will oppose to the changes of characteristics, because I think no one should able to decide what type of color of skin is his baby, because which, as I said here, which one you will decide which race is superior or one is better. In disorders as dwarfism that many people consider they have a disease, they don't really suffer from the condition. They suffer from how society treats them. That's what I meant about how they treat the disease, because like people with dwarfism really don't, besides being very small, they don't have any other condition that makes them suffer. They suffer from what they think, what society thinks, and yeah, directs to them. Still, a genetic disease that many people argue is a disease of Alzheimer. You don't know when it's a therapy or an improvement. Yes, the line between therapy in germline editing and improvement is very thin, or very blur. Yeah, blur. Because you'll never know what about if height is an improvement or it's a therapy instead of an improvement. Like, it is controversial in that part. Evolution is so complex that a mistaken have catastrophic effects, especially thinking that gene editing has been present only at 0.01 of human history. Like, we can take chances of something relatively new. I think that only wealthy people will have this improvement. And yes, if I think gene CRISPR has to look, although it has lowered the prices radically, it has to lower them more, even more. A huge gap will grow between social groups. For me, germline improvement is wrong in every case, and treatment, in the other hand, we have to set up boundaries and decide what is correct and wait until there is the right moment. I don't know when, but I'm sure we don't need to rush things up. As I mentioned, I will oppose every time that they ask me to germline improvement, such as height, such as what race are you, such as physical characteristics, and many more, because really scientists don't know really the capacity that gene editing has. I think it is one of the major discoveries human race has ever found. And yeah, what society thinks about CRISPR? As far as today, we haven't modified a baby, and it's majority of people that oppose to the idea. But I think as time passes, the acceptance will grow, and it happens. And if it happens, we need to be sure we are ready. What I mean on editing a baby is giving the therapy to, I don't know, reduce chances of contracting Alzheimer, or that diseases that many people that diseases that many people suffer from. Well, that's my sources, and thank you.